Hi pals, my name is Mal, or you can call me Milk, and welcome back to my channel. So I am working on two builds today here on Olive. First we'll be doing the outside of the museum, and then we will be working on an orchard. Let's get started. My plan for the museum is to have a cute little path that leads up to it, but the path is also a part of the museum, so I added some fossils, historical bones, on the outside as well. And I got this idea from a park that's near my hometown where there's a path that goes through the woods, and after every few yards or so there's like a little workout station with like bars and stuff. So for the museum, I was kind of going with that idea, but instead of there being a place to get fit every few steps, there's a cool museum item to look at before going into the actual building. One thing I did want to talk about in this video is explain myself a little bit. I decided to put both of these builds into one video for a couple different reasons. First being that I did them both at the same time and in the same day. The second reason is that I know the museum entrance is kind of similar to my main entrance build, so I wanted to add a little bit to this to have just a little bit more to watch, since it's basically the same video as my entrance build. And lastly, because these builds are boring. Plain and simple. They are very typical cottagecore builds that I am sure you have seen before, and there just isn't much to them, and I'm sorry about that. I honestly thought about not even uploading this video and just showing you the after, but I do really want to show everything I do on this island, like step by step. I have kind of wished that for some of my previous islands that I have, and like to look back on. And there may be some people that enjoy this regardless and want to see the process, and if so, thank you, you're actually the coolest. But the first few builds are always the toughest due to like lack of items and whatnot, so bear with me through this video and getting the more boring builds out of the way, because the next builds that I have are very exciting and more unique, and I'm very excited for them. But anyways, going back to what I'm doing here, I'm kind of just adding more of like a cottagecore vibey fence that just matches cottagecore a little bit more, foresty a little bit more, and just planting a bunch of trees in here and placing some decorations like this little post here, and then I add a cute little bike eventually, and just to make it seem like somebody was strolling through here. They parked their bike at the entrance so they could walk through and look at everything. Where you see that one half of the giant fossil, I ended up changing that into like one of the fossils where it's just one item, not like two items that you smush together, if that makes sense. Just because I could not find the other side of this guy. I literally put this there months ago and I have yet to find him, so I swapped him out for a different one. You don't see that in this video, but I just thought that I would tell you that I did that. I really wanted to add some naturey outside items, not to just add to the build and bring it all together, but to just fill in some space as well, because a lot of the space that I'm using to fill everything in is just trees, flowers, fossils, and weeds. So I wanted to add like that little bird bath that I put, and this bike, and the post sign, just a bunch of little different things to kind of add to the build. So let me talk a little bit about what my idea was with the orchard. I mean, it doesn't have much explaining to do because it's a freaking orchard. You know what it entails. But I wanted to kind of explain that this build is technically unfinished, as I do have to add apple trees at the end and just add a little bit more items and decorations once I get them. Again, I always start off with not a lot of items whenever you reset, so I gotta wait to get a couple more things. I want to add like the leaf piles, some dropped fruits and whatnot, so I'm waiting for the apple trees. But that's why I don't really have a very good walkthrough at the end of this video, which you'll see, because they technically are unfinished. But that's also why I love Animal Crossing, because it's your own island for you to do what you want, change your mind, add to your builds as you go, and your island just evolves over time. But this little path here that I'm adding behind the orchard, I just thought it would be cute to have something kind of going behind it to lead you right back to resident services, because you also follow this path down from resident services down to the bridge, which takes you over to the shops and whatnot. So I really wanted a path connecting them that kind of goes through the orchard, because the orchard, let's face it, is going to be more of a decoration area and not like a useful section of my island. This area down here is where it's a little bit unfinished. I really want to add the leaf piles down in this area to add some filler. But in the meantime, I added that little wheelbarrow there. I figured they could be going around collecting the fruit off the trees and throwing it in the wheelbarrow. And then I just, again, added that same type of country style fencing just to kind of pull it together, separate this from the beach and from the back area, just to give it its own little space. I also added this little watering fountain. What is this called? Water something? I added that. And I do end up changing it later. Again, I don't think I put it in this video, but I changed the style of it so it's the brown version. Just a heads up. But I figured that's where you can wash off your tools, wash off the fruit after you pick it. I added the little birdhouse, but that is pretty much it. Again, there's still a little bit of things to add, not much of a good closer walkthrough, but that's what it is. But that's it for today's video. If you made it to this point, thank you so much for your support and for being here. I'm getting so inspired for this island and for my channel in general, so if you decide that you would like to subscribe, thank you, bestie, and I will see you for some more entertaining and better content in the future. Bye!